Last week, we talked about the question. The question simply was, if we were sitting here 3 years from right now, what has to have happened in that 3-year period, both personally and professionally, for you to have a sense of success and accomplishment and where you're really happy with your progress? I asked you to consider taking some time to free flow and write from your heart what really your desires are. What is the picture you want to create over the next several years? With that in mind, I want to ask you a few questions over the next couple of weeks. The first one is this: what keeps you up at night? I'm not talking about the baby crying or the dog barking or the wife or the husband snoring. I'm talking about what are the things that when you lay your head on the pillow or when you're in your quiet time, you have a tendency to go to a place where you worry about certain things. These are what I describe and what my coach, Dan Sullivan, describes as dangers. These are the things that are the roadblocks. These are the things that might stand in between where you are today and that 3-year picture you just described and wrote out in your journal. This could be anything from maybe the lack of resources, maybe the goals you have, the dreams you have. Those are going to take some capital resources on the front end, and maybe you don't have access to those right now. It could be that it's more of a mind game for you. It's the limiting beliefs that you hold. It's maybe your tendency to fall back into complacency or a place of what we call the comfort zone. Maybe it's just the people you have around you who are not necessarily as positive and as uplifting and as encouraging as they could be. When you begin to consider the dangers, the roadblocks, the things that may stand, why is it important to write those down? I believe you need to know your enemy. I believe you need to know and identify and even articulate out loud, these are the things that might get in my way, because there's something about owning the possibility of those things being an obstacle. There's something about identifying and saying, I got my eye on you, and I know that you may peep your head in this deal, but I'm determined. So I'm going to encourage you again to take some time and sit down and write down what are the things that keep me up at night. Maybe it's relationships. Maybe it's a lack of finances. Maybe it's, maybe it's not having the right connections or the right inroads to the industries. Maybe the business that you own or the idea that you're nurturing, maybe you just don't have all the answers yet. Maybe you just don't have all the pieces to the puzzle yet. And the gaps that you have there are just driving you crazy. But here's the thing, get those things out of your head and get them onto paper, because then you can deal with them. If you're allowing those things to run just loose up in your head and just free flow up in your head all the time, they're controlling you. But when you get them out of your head and onto paper, now you can begin to tick those off one by one and deal with them, because here's the thing, there are answers to the questions that keep you up at night. There are solutions to the problems and the roadblocks and the obstacles. There is nothing that stands before you that is larger than a solution that is available to you. In other words, I promise you, if God, and you know my grid here, if God is calling you into a new season, into a new opportunity, into a new place of productivity and profitability and all those things, then the answers exist. Now I just have to stop allowing my unconscious mind to just play havoc up here, and I've got to get them on paper and begin to deal with them in a productive and a constructive way. So here's the question: what are the things that keep you up at night? Take time, get them out of your head, get them onto paper, and then we're going to go to the next step in our next session. I look forward to seeing you back here very, very soon.